Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing fine this morning. It's a beautiful morning for a ribbon cutting ceremony. I'm going to be doing some introductions and welcoming remarks, but just first of all, I want to thank everyone that's here for being here and sharing this with us. This project is, we didn't think about this yesterday, and when I say we, I mean our utility board, McAllen Public Utility Board, did not think of this project yesterday. This has been years in the making. We've been talking about this for this specific particular project for probably about 10 years, and we've been doing actual reuse from our South Wastewater plant to our golf course, and even from this plant to Calpine Energy for longer than that, for maybe 10, 15 years already. So this didn't happen overnight. We didn't think about this overnight, but it's finally here to this new standard and new level of reuse. So thank you all for being here. I just want to thank especially our elected officials who we have here in the front row. We have Mr. Charles AMOS. He's a trustee of our Public Utility Board. I want to thank our engineers for this project and our contractor. We have Miguel Luis Ramos over here. Thank you so much, Luis Miguel. They built the actual pipeline, the transmission line that runs from this plant all the way to Tres Lagos development on the north and to the new McAllen Youth Baseball Complex south of here. So did a fantastic job in that. That's Ream Construction, so thank you guys. I want to recognize Blanca Cardenas with Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being here, Blanca, and those that you brought from the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much. Juan Santana from Texas Water Development Board here in the front row. Juan will be saying some words shortly, and we thank him because without the Water Development Board's loan for this project, which was a very low interest loan, this would not have happened in the time frame that it did. So thank you, Juan, and to the Water Development Board. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, is our staff. So thank you all, our staff, our engineers, our water department, our wastewater department, treatment, collections, pre-treatment, billing that's here, customer relations, meter readers. Thank you all for doing what you do for the MPU. This is one piece of the puzzle, and so thank you all very much from the bottom of our board's heart and mine. So with that, my name is Mark Vega, General Manager for McAllen Public Utility. I had asked my daughter what she thought about recycled water, and she said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, that's water that you've already used, and we clean that." And she said, "Well, Dad, I think there's two reasons why you don't drink toilet water. Number one, and number two." And so I thought, well, that's wise words from a 10-year-old girl. So I want to first bring up, our chairman is not here, Albert Cardenas, who wanted to be here. And but we do have our trustee, Charles Amos. And after him will be Juan Santana from Texas Water Development Board. And then we'll have Mike Rhodes speak after Juan. Mike Rhodes is obviously, he's the brainchild and the producer of that new beautiful master plan community at Tres Lagos, and that's what it is a community. And so we're really thankful that he's here. Then I'll call our engineer, Carlos Gonzalez, our in-house, our staff engineer, who had a lot to do with this project, and then the director of wastewater systems is David Garza. So we'll start with our trustee, Charles Amos.
Good morning, everyone. Just to give you a short bit of history, I've been on this board a little over 15 years. And one of the first things we talked about, and I was introduced to, was a concept that I'd never heard of. I thought we were only talking about water and sewer, and the then general manager, Bart Hines, was starting to talk about reuse. And what the hell's reuse? But to have seen the progression of technology to the point to where we are today versus 15 years ago, and that seed that was planted back then to be culminated in a project such as this, to to where we're going to have how many homes, Mike? 5,000 homes with dedicated meters using reused water instead of potable water. What can be done with that potable water that they're now using for reuse? And the City of McAllen and McAllen Public Utility Board, I've got to thank our mayor for having supported us in everything that we've done, as well as our city commissioners. But the board, from our chairman, Albert Cardenas, vice chairman Tony Aguirre, myself, and Ernie Williams, we worked hard over the last few years educating ourselves as to what we need to do. And when the opportunity presented itself to provide what is initially the backbone of a reuse system, just like the water system and our sewer system, when that opportunity came and we had the opportunity for the financing that we could achieve, it was just kind of like everything falling into place. And to have accomplished this in the time frame that we have, to be fully operational, once again, I've told people that you can take a glass of our type 1 reused water and put it next to a glass of potable water, drinking water, and you really can't tell the difference. Then that says something about what we're accomplishing for not only McAllen, but surrounding cities. McAllen's public utility is the diamond here in the valley, in my opinion. I'm a little bit biased, but we've got staff that works tirelessly to achieve these things. Everything from our general manager to our crews out in the field. Middle of the night, they're out there fixing a line, until dawn the next morning. And, people don't realize that all these things go on. And they're not aware of it. I wish everybody in the city was aware that over the last almost 15 years, we've been supplying reuse water to Calpine and Duke Energy out on McCall and Monte Cristo. And even longer than that, reuse water to the golf course. We're the largest distributor of reused water south of San Antonio. San Antonio is hard to beat as far as their usage, but we're doing it. And we're saving potable water for the use that it was intended to. And that's the life and development of our community. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Mr. RHODES and his vision that helped us in getting this achieved. I want to thank the city for their support and the opportunity to go ahead and provide reused water for parks. And that's what our intent is. We're going to reach out to every school and every park and every facility that uses irrigation waters and see if we can reach out to them, if not now, in the future, with reuse water, so that those sprinkler systems that we see operating day in and day out in the hot summer months aren't using potable water, but they're using reuse water. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate all of that. But most importantly, I'm very, very proud of what we have accomplished as a team, from our general manager down to the operators, down to the line crews that we have. We've got one heck of a team here in McAllen, and very proud of them. And we appreciate everything that our engineers do and our staff. Hard to beat. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Amos. I just wanted to recognize our contractor. We had two contractors, so I recognize Ream Construction and then Ferguson Construction, and he's in the silver truck. He's got his hard hat on, and he's still working hard. So Woods, here he is, Woods Davis. So thank you, Woods. He did all the treatment side construction, and Ream handled the pipeline construction. So thank you, Woods, for being here. Next, I do want to call up Mr. Juan Santana from the Texas Water Development Board. Juan?
Good morning, and thank you for having us here, Mark, and City of McAllen, MPU. It's a great opportunity for us to participate with the MPU in this successful project that you have completed. And on behalf of the Texas Water Development Board and its board members, we would like to present the MPU with a certificate on the completion of this successful project. So I have here, and I would like to read it to y'all. The Texas Water Development Board congratulates the city of McAllen on the completion of this North Wastewater Treatment Plant Reclaim Water System project, February 28, 2019, funded by the Texas Water Development Board, and it's signed by our three board members, Chairman Lake, Director Jackson, and Director Pope. Again, thank you for having us here, and we would like to present this to McAllen. Thank you. All right. Look forward to working with the MPU and city on future projects that are in the works presently. Again, thank y'all.
Next, I do want to call up, like I said, the brainchild of Tres Lagos. And a lot of people don't know the first reuse project that we had programmed was not supposed to be out of the north plant. It was supposed to be out of the south plant. And the way the reuse usually works is before you build a reuse pipeline and improvements, you got to go out and get customers. Otherwise, you're going to put in a few $1 million in the ground, and that's not a good idea after you've spent that money to go ask, hey, who wants reuse? So this actually happened in reverse, where Mike Rhodes came into us and said, look, I've got this idea to build this gem up here in North McAllen, and I'd love to have reuse water irrigating this. So it actually, without us having to go and get customers, the customer came to us, and it's a very big customer. And just if you all have not seen that subdivision, you need to drive out here. It's only a couple of minutes northwest, and it's just a beautiful place. So a lot that went into this project. You know, Mike and the board and I didn't agree at all times. It was some difficult spots, but you know what? Nothing that is worth anything comes easy. And so, but it came, and we're very glad. So Mike, you want to come up here, please, and say some words?
Thank you, Mark. Hello. Well, I'm very proud of this day. We've done a lot of what we think are very special things out at Tres Lagos, and this is one of the things I'm most proud of, and it's one of the things that most people don't even notice when they're there, don't know, and I think we've accomplished our goal that they don't know what they have. People ask me all the time as a developer, are we going to have enough water here in the Rio Grande Valley to sustain our growth? And from irrigation district to farmer to developer to builder, I'm in every aspect of water down here. And once I explain it to them, it becomes a little more clear. But our agriculture use, we use 2.5 acre feet of water per year. When we develop a subdivision in that same land, we use half the water. So, housing uses half the water of ag in our situation. And then if we add reuse to the equation, we use half of that. So we were building a community out there that's using 1/4 of the water that the farm did. And I think that's something we can all really be proud of. So it is an expense to us, but I think it's our duty to do these type of things to help the environment and make sure that we keep the Rio Grande Valley growing. But basically, we've run a dual water system throughout the whole community, and we were also part of the financing solution to get this done here at the plant through our TERS board. And to give you an idea, I know it sounds crazy to hear these numbers, but every house out there has a reuse meter, and there's already 200 homes out there using reuse water on their yards now and all of our parks and trails. But it saves about 180,000 gallons a year per house. At full build out at Tres Lagos, we're talking about saving 1.5 billion gallons a year of potable water. I think that's something we should all really try to grasp and the impact of it. And hopefully, what we hope is we're going to be a good example to other developers to go that extra mile and put in the extra expense of doing reuse when they can. So I've, like Mark said, it's been a long journey, but it was done exactly like we've talked about in the beginning and planned. And I had every faith in the McAllen Utility Board. Is just I couldn't ask for a better group to work with, and what they've hopefully they'll set the bar for other communities too in the valley, and as they can, they will adopt the same. If you're in Austin or San Antonio, it's commonplace. You see purple pipe and purple meters everywhere, and it's being reused everywhere. But it wasn't in the valley, so I think it took this type of project to hopefully bring it to the forefront and make people understand how important it is. Anyway, I've been, like I said, very proud of the project, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll have a couple of staff members speak, but I do want our directors to just stand quickly to be recognized. Joe Solis, Water Systems Director, David Garza, Melba Carvajal. Please stand. Nyla is not able to be here, but we have a lot of staff here, but these directors really make things go. We're JJ Rodriguez, my assistant general manager, and just wanted to recognize them. The next two will be staff members, and usually the ones that have put the most work into it say the least. The ones that did the least work, say the most. But Carlos, where's Carlos? Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos, come on up here.
All right, I'll be very brief here, but just want to echo the same appreciation Mark did to all the people that were involved. And I don't think there's probably a department that didn't touch this project. And again, this project, the developer was very instrumental. These two exhibits here kind of graphically illustrate the scope of this project. On our side, we installed about six and a half miles of reuse transmission line off-site. The developer on the top hand corner there, those lines in green are all the infrastructure that Mike Rhodes put in through his Tres Lagos development. So when you do the math there, that basically doubles the infrastructure that we put in. So we went basically from having zero pressurized reuse line at the north plant to having over 12 miles of reuse line. So it's really a big deal there. Last year we did 3 financial applications, and again, that's was a collaborative effort. Melba's staff here was very instrumental in those applications as well. They're mostly financial, so just a shout out to the accountants who were involved here. The other thing too, on the financial side, McAllen is very proud of maintaining some of the lowest rates in the area, and of course the state. But this project here on the funding side, Mike Rose through his TERS funded $4.5 million of this project. We had another $1.25 million that qualified as a green project loan forgiveness. So when you do the total math, this project ended up being subsidized by about 75% of the total project cost. So that's very instrumental in being able to maintain low water rates, right? So if that wasn't the case, those costs would be passed over to the ratepayer. So that was very critical in making this project feasible, financially feasible. So that's pretty much it, Mark.
Thank you, Carlos. Lastly, I want to bring David before I do some closing remarks. So David Garza, Director of Wastewater Systems, who will oversee the 2 plants that are pumping reuse out of McAllen Public Utility.
Appreciate that. Thanks. For a lot of you, this is an exciting day. I'm very excited right now because of what's happening. Mr. Rhodes, thank you first for allowing us to do this. There's not very many developers that would end up saying, hey, I want reclaimed water in my development, and to sell it to the customers. The MPU board for the vision that they have, the vision of looking at what utilities can end up doing for a community. It's unbelievable where I have 20 years of experience in municipal to end up coming to a board that has such a vision, knowing the critical of how special water and wastewater is, and being able to treat it to be able to supply reclaimed water to our residential homes that has not been done here in the valley, and MPU should be proud of this. So proud of what we're doing. Because the excitement for us in the municipal business to be able to do this, and knowing that we're conserving potable water that's going to be needed in the valley, is unbelievable. As Mr. Rhodes says, hopefully other cities will end up looking at us, mimicking us, because that's a compliment. When they do that, and knowing what McAllen Public Utilities does, it's always a compliment when we see them imitating us. So to end up having the vision to get this done and to accomplish it is incredible. And then to continue to do it, if I remember correctly, when Mr. Rhodes ended up saying 5,000 homes, that's over 80,000 people, más o menos, 80,000 people that will end up using reclaimed water. Incredible. And to be able to continue to end up doing it is something I know that the valley is going to end up needing. And that's what's great about it. But one of the things I do want to touch on before I end up closing is to end up thanking my operators, my collection department, for the work that they've done. Because a lot of people don't realize this, is that we're producing it. We might be getting it, but we got to produce it. We got to always end up making sure that the customer is going to be satisfied. We always have to end up making sure that the customer knows that this water is safe, and it is. When I first came on board on MPU, one of my first assignments was actually to end up letting all the staff know that reclaimed water was safe. And it is. When I speak about reclaimed water, one of the things that I end up liking to end up mentioning is that reclaimed water is cleaner than beach water, and it's cleaner than the raw water when it comes from the canal. That's how good we get it. That's how good the operators are, and that's how good our collection system is. That's what we do. That's why I'm excited, because I know that we're going to continue to be able to do this. That's why I appreciate MPU, because they had a vision, they accomplished it, and I am proud to end up being part of this system. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That is David's a little snapshot of why we succeed at NPUB. The passion of our staff, the passion of our directors is why we are successful. So in closing, before we bring up several people for the ribbon cutting, I thought it was a guitar that Blanca brought, but no, I thought that we had music. It's a scissors in a guitar case. So so we'll have Blanca come up with the scissors, and her staff from folks from the chamber. And but I just want to thank you all again. Just to echo what David said, thank you all for being a part of a future vision that has begun here at McAllen Public Utility, or has actually gone to the next level. I shouldn't say begun, but thank you all for taking part in that with us and sharing that with us. So, Blanca, you want to have you and anyone here from the chamber please come up.
1, 2, and